How is everyone doing? It's your favorite GTME, Joe DeVille. And quick lesson that I just wanted to show you guys that I just learned is that as your business matures and most of the tools that got you to where you are rarely the ones are going to get you to the place you're trying to go. And what I mean by that is that I was using Clay for workflows, enrichment, automation, the normal stuff. But as I realized my business is maturing, is that every new idea required workarounds in Clay. More tools, more integrations, more complexity, and more mental overhead. And that's when something clicked for me. The problem wasn't speed, it was control. So I moved to Claude Code for most of my workflows now. And instead of adapting to thinking to a tool, I could just explain the outcome I wanted to Claude and it would build exactly that. Maybe Clay will eventually perfect Sculptor to do this, but right now Sculptor is more of a suggestion. It can't really edit your tables. It builds the flow sometimes, but you still have to add the enrichment. You still have to do a lot of things manually in Clay, even if Sculptor recommends it for you. So when you're thinking about growing your company, your business, your consultancy, leverage matters more than features. When you're trying to grow your business, leverage matters more than features. So moving faster, having things more customizable, and making decisions without waiting on limits. If you're hitting friction with growth, it's usually not adding to us, it's taking them away. That's the kind of work I help teams think through. I wanted to look for and build a list of MSPs. Now, how do we build a list of MSPs and not get IT consultants, break fix shops? How do we separate MSPs from non MSP IT people? It's by the technology they use. So MSPs use something called PSAs, and that's what handles the SLAs, the tickets. It's a very, very kind of complex software that keeps them on top of customer client management. When you're a team of 4, how do you manage 40 different customers? And how do you give them exceptional support without them churning? They use something called PSAs. But what I want to use that PSA to identify real MSPs. So how would I do this? In Clay, what I would have to do is find a list of potential MSPs, enrich to get a tool stack, to get tech stack, trying to see if I see some remnants of the PSAs there. But what if I wanted to do it in Claude? What would it look like? All right, so we want to find users of ConnectWise, Halo, Autotask, Kaseya, and we're going to use both tech stack detection and signal based. First is using that built with, which is industry standard on identifying tech stack stuff. But then we're going to layer that with a bunch of other things. So HubSpot, Technographics, web scraping, the community directories. So ConnectWise partner directory, Autotask, partner directories, job posting analysis using web search for EXA, which I think is one of the best search tools out there. I love EXA. It helps me find information, build lists. Then after we do the web search with EXA, we're going to go to a G2 Capterra review. And then we're going to use FileCrawl, one of the best scrapers ever, just FYI. If you guys don't build your own custom scrapers, FileCrawl is probably the way to go. Using EXA to see if companies have any signal, any remnant of any of the main PSAs. And then using the MSP Association member directories. So that's ASCII, CompTIA, MSP Alliance, and using that and trying to match. So let's get this started and let's see what we get. And it even like Claude even gives us like the highest ROI methods ranked and how accurate each search would be. And it starts with the most accurate all the way down to the least. And then it gives us a cost-effective strategy, which is my favorite. All right, cool. Let's start this. So it sets up the PSA scraper for me. It does like everything almost. All I have to really do is like run it maybe from my GitHub repository or set it up in Clay. But there's no way I could have done this inside Clay. Just no way. And then it gives me like all of the configs, the workflow guides. Yeah, Clay's not doing this. So this is why I switched to the combination of Claude and Claude Code. Now, once I have like all the Python stuff I need, I use like, instead of like using that env file, I just put all of my API keys in the repository secrets. And that way it's organization wide and I can like just keep using them. So, and then it gives me the cost estimates of how much everything is going to be. Luckily, when you're using like APIs, things are really, really cheap instead of using the UI, which I've been noticing lately. I will show you guys maybe another time something called VeriStack, which has really been helping us to filter companies by tech stack, but that's for another time.